Fortunately for all of us, JoJo Siwa is showing no signs of slowing down on cringe. In fact, as of late, her cringe has taken a more sinister turn. And at this point, if you ask me, this is levels beyond cringe. Her cringy behavior has now turned into straight up child grooming. Yeah, I know, it's weird that YouTube does not like us saying that word. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the same people behind JoJo Siwa's little rebranding are probably some of the same people behind the censorship that we see here on social media, because they don't want us reacting to things like this. They don't want us calling this stuff out. But I will be here every step of the way as JoJo Siwa tries to drag her child fan base down a very dark and twisted path. And folks, you have to understand that not everyone is as in touch with this situation as we are. A lot of parents, they're working hard. They work 8, 9, sometimes 12 hours a day, sometimes even more. They're doing overtime. They're not keeping up with what JoJo Siwa is doing. Last thing they remember JoJo Siwa was that colorful little girl on the pajamas at Walmart. So there are parents right now who are having their little girls come up to them, asking them to go see JoJo Siwa, and they're showing up at these JoJo Siwa shows, not realizing that this is not the same JoJo anymore. Okay? Parents are literally taking their little kids to see JoJo Siwa, and they're unaware that JoJo Siwa has gone through this rebranding, and that instead of her skipping around on stage, she's going to be skipping around on stage while making out with other women, humping her backup dancers, taking shots, and cussing out the crowd. In fact, I just showed you that clip in my last video about this topic, where JoJo Siwa, dressed like a teddy bear or something, she's on stage mad that she's getting booed, right? And she starts cussing people out. There were little kids in that crowd. I'm sure some of the people booing were parents. Because like I said, a lot of these parents out there, they're not up to game. They're not hip to everything that's been going on. And it's crazy because some of these parents are taking their kids to pride events and pride festivals where there's like naked dudes walking around with their tidbits out, all types of kinky stuff going on. And these parents are exposing their kids to all of this. And I've seen some parents who are taking their kids to see JoJo Siwa. They have no problem with her, being sexual and doing all of this kinky stuff on stage, but they do have a problem with her cussing in front of their kids. So it's weird to see the dynamic. We're seeing some parents show up to these shows and they're absolutely flabbergasted by all of the sexual stuff that's going on. And then we're seeing other parents who, for some odd, creepy reason, are comfortable exposing their kids to all of the nasty stuff that goes on at these pride events. And they're taking their kids to see JoJo Siwa. They have no problem with her grinding on women and making out with them on stage, but they do have a problem with her cussing people out. So it's an awkward situation. But when I first started seeing this play out, and I think for a lot of people, it's easy to look at the situation and say, oh, this is just, a young person who has some awkward behavior as they're growing into an adult. This is a person trying to find themselves. It's easy to write the situation off as something like that. It's also easy to look at this situation and say, oh, this is just a young child star trying to find their footing in the music industry. They're trying to make this transition into, a more of an adult star, and it's just an awkward transition. But in reality, I feel like the truth is much more sinister than that. Sure, for the first couple of months as I was watching this play out, I was right there with you. But now, some of the recent decisions that are being made, It's obvious what is going on here. You're not going to tell me that people are sitting around making these decisions and they're unaware of how this looks, how bad this looks. And speaking of looks, you know, when JoJo Siwa started this rebrand, her first look was like a Kiss reject. She kind of looked like a wrestling star, kind of like Sting, kind of like The Crow. I don't know, it was really weird. Then she transitioned from that into a more Rainbow Bright look. And I kid you not, if you look at the Child's Toy Rainbow Bright and you look at the costumes that JoJo Siwa was wearing, it's an exact ripoff. The only difference is JoJo Siwa maybe added some bedazzles, you know, she maybe added some rhinestones here and there, but it was a complete ripoff of a Child's Toy. Now, in my opinion, I think it's kind of weird to dress like a child's toy as you're beginning this transition into an adult where you're doing all of this adult-like stuff on stage. But some people were like, hey, it's just a costume, whatever. So I was like, okay. I find it creepy that she's dressed up as Rainbow Bright, you know, knowing that she has a child fan base and now she's trying to appeal to adults. Why not dress in a way that appeals to adults? Why not do something to separate yourself from the child entertainer, you know, to the adult entertainer? Why is there nothing there to separate the two? But you see, that's what they want. And that's become evidently clear. And I've pointed this out, but now it has been reaffirmed for me. You know, it has been reaffirmed in JoJo Siwa's latest music video. Because you see, after the transition from Kiss Reject to Rainbow Bright, JoJo Siwa's latest look is to dress up like a teddy bear. She has teddy bears in her hair, teddy bears strapped to her chest that she calls titty bears. And it's just, it gives me this weird vibe. And it gives me that weird vibe for a legit reason. I think it should give anyone a weird vibe. Now, maybe if you saw an adult star come out dressed like this and they had no history of appealing to children, maybe it would make you feel differently, but you have to put things, like you have to look at the entire picture. And that's what a lot of people do. That's the problem a lot of people have. They look at something through this small window and they don't look at the bigger picture. We have to understand, folks, and you all have to understand, that JoJo Siwa was just a child star performing in front of 6-year-olds not that long ago. So the fact that they're going out of their way to put JoJo Siwa in these costumes that still appeals to her original fan base of 6-year-olds, it should let you know what they're doing. It speaks volumes. But now, in her latest music video, as if dressing up with the teddy bears all over her isn't enough, in her latest music video, there's like a wild orgy or something, I don't even know if I can say that word, where JoJo Siwa and other people basically start doing it, okay? The birds and the bees. I'm sorry, I'm kind of traumatized. But JoJo Siwa and her backup dancers are all like having sex with a bunch of giant teddy bears. Like a wild sex party with teddy bears. It's just disgusting. And I'm not saying that as someone like clutching my pearls, how dare you do this sexual deviant stuff? This is unchristian-like. That's not me. That's not what I'm saying here. But like, why can't you just be an adult? And if you want sexual stuff in your music videos, be an adult. Why are you sexualizing children's toys? Why do you have teddy bears strapped to your tits as you roll on the ground, getting humped from behind by a giant teddy bear? And it's at this point, this is when like, okay. The signs were already there. I already saw this for what it was a long time ago, but now there's no denying. Now this just reaffirms everything. This reaffirms my suspicions. And when I look at these photos and these videos that are coming out, I can't help but think of like MK Ultra Sex Kitten, like some weird diabolical stuff that happens to children stars in Hollywood, some weird conspiracies. I can't help but think about some really dark and twisted stuff. Because this is a little girl. I don't care if she's 21. This is a girl that we were just seeing bounce around with the berets and bows in her hair, doing all this for children. Now, for some odd reason, like it couldn't be a room of adults doing all of this kinky stuff to each other. No. A room full of teddy bears. Like, does anyone else see the problem here? Well, I already know the answer to that question because I looked at social media's reaction to this latest, these latest photos and snippets of her music video. And listen, it is hard. It is legit hard trying to find someone that is supportive of all of this nonsense. Her comment sections are like 95% negative. It's like 95% people calling her out, calling this weird behavior out, talking about how cringy it is, talking about how downright kind of evil it is that she's doing this, considering that, she has a child fan base. But I want to go ahead and dive into some of these reactions so we can hear from other people, because you all know how I feel about this. I don't think it's right. And I've gone from laughing at her behavior because it was cringy and kind of funny to now it's like, oh, this is kind of dark and twisted. I see what you guys are doing. And when I say you guys, I'm not putting all of the blame on JoJo Siwa. Sure, you could place some blame on her, but I'm more so talking about the team behind her. Because at the end of the day, you have to understand with these stars, there's an entire team behind her that are helping her or making these decisions for her. So nowhere down the line is anyone thinking this is a bad look. No, this is what they're going for. They're purposely introducing these childlike themes to her now adult-like content. And it's wrong. But let's go ahead and read what people have to say. This just screams pedo vibes. Sexualizing children's toys? Interesting. JoJo, think of the children. You want to be taken seriously? But this is not it, babe. You're coming off very gross. Get away from kids' toys and sparkles. Go actually do something a grown-up would do. You're coming off as a traumatic childhood. Seems like you need a counselor more than making music right now. We've loved you for years, but this is not it. Nothing I would allow for my kids or my house anymore. And that's the point that I've been trying to make. But you see, it's not like I was ever a JoJo Siwa fan. So I understand that when I say things, it could come off as, oh, he's hating or something like that. But that's not, I'm not hating. I'm just being honest. But it's refreshing hearing from people like this. People who were JoJo fans. Or people whose kids were JoJo fans. And they said basically what I've been saying. Hey, if you want to be viewed as an adult, if you want to make this transition into an adult star, or to a star that appeals to an adult crowd instead of kids, then do adult-like things. And doing adult-like things doesn't mean being sexual around kids' toys while you have freaking rhinestones attached to your eyebrows like a freaking idiot. No. Like she said, move away from the sparkles, move away from the kids' toys. Why don't you go out there without all of the crazy makeup and costume and just sing a song? What about that? Why don't you sing a song about love or anything like that? No, you have to do all of this weird, cringy, kinky stuff, and it's not a good look. And at the end of the day, it's like someone has said before, and it's like I've said before, who's your target demographic here? Because you're sending out these confusing signals, but that's what they want to do. Because at the end of the day, this stuff is not for adults. This stuff is not for 21-year-olds. This stuff is for the same 8 and 9-year-olds. They're trying to drag them down this weird, creepy path. A path that JoJo probably hasn't even gone down herself. Because I don't believe a lot of the stuff that JoJo says. I don't believe this image. I don't believe none of it. But let's go ahead and go forward. Children's toys and sexual vibes. Ah, yes. What I was looking for. The teddy bears make me very uncomfortable. This is disgusting. Why are you sexualizing children's toys? It looks like the picture is trying to catch what it is like to be groomed. That bear behind her looks like it's coaching her. R-word, P-word vibes, for sure. Holly Weird is so evil and satanic. And yes, my thoughts exactly. Not only does this picture kind of show what it may be like to be groomed, it's literally grooming kids through this picture. Because you have to understand, and I've said this 1,000 times, but the 6-year-olds that were out there buying the little journals with JoJo Siwa's face, you know, they were buying the little JoJo Siwa diaries and the coloring books. Now they're looking at these photos of JoJo. And they're questioning, hey, why is she on the ground straddling someone with a teddy bear behind her, humping her? And what's that teddy bear doing? What's that teddy bear doing? It's so gross. But like that last guy said, Hollywood is evil and satanic. Yes, Hollywood is evil and satanic. And I need people to understand that it doesn't matter if you're religious. People think that you have to be religious to view something as satanic. It does not matter what you believe. What matters is what they believe and how far they're willing to go for their beliefs. So you don't have to believe in Satan. You don't have to believe in Jesus. You don't have to believe in God. You don't have to believe in any damn thing. That doesn't mean that they don't believe in stuff. And yes, Hollywood is satanic. They show us all the time. Do you think all of these symbols are all around for no reason? No. No. And what's going on right now with JoJo is downright evil and satanic. And I say that as someone who's not, really religious. But let's go ahead and go forward. This furry-ish is creepy as F to me. This is just getting weird at this point. Are you really sexualizing a bear? I don't like this timeline, neither do I. Why you busting it open for a teddy bear? I'm trying to be supportive, but I'm just so concerned. Exactly. You see, I've seen some people try to support JoJo's cringy behavior, and now they've kind of been left no choice. Like, if you support this, then you're a creepo that probably, needs to get... I'll just keep my thoughts to myself. If you support this type of stuff, you're probably a creepo that likes kids. So you're seeing people who have been supportive of her. They're like, hey, this is growing a little too concerning. I think I'm out. But let's... Oh my God. It's giving orgy in the back room of FOA Schwartz. Now, for those of you all who don't know, that's a famous toy store. I believe they had like a famous location in New York. Was that the toy store that was on Home Alone, or was it on A Christmas Story? I can't remember. It's a famous toy store. Let's just go forward. Okay, JoJo, can you please stop having an orgy with girls and teddies while your outfit is bedazzled fabric and teddy bear tits? Being sodomized by a giant teddy bear is definitely a new one for me. JoJo, not again. Unfortunately, yes, JoJo is doing it again. And if this trend continues, we haven't seen anything yet. Because the more and more she does things to outrage people, the more and more she's going to have to keep doing even more to outrage people. And I think sometimes with some stars, they have enough talent that people will overlook some of this stuff. But with JoJo Siwa, And I'm not trying to take anything from her as far as talent goes, but is JoJo Siwa really worth the cringy behavior? Is the music she's putting out worth looking past this behavior? And from what a lot of her actual fans say, this is her fans' words, not mine. I don't listen to JoJo's music. I'm no JoJo expert. But JoJo Siwa's fans have been complaining lately that some of this new music isn't even her singing. It's not even her voice. Like they're using other people's voices. I don't know how true that is, but that's what JoJo Siwa's own fans are upset about right now. And some of them are okay with the teddy bear stuff. They're okay with all of the other cringy stuff. They're just upset like, hey, this doesn't sound like JoJo. This is someone else. So maybe there's something there as well. But as far as all of this other stuff goes, like I said, it's blatantly obvious what's happening here. They're trying to drag JoJo's kid fan base down a dark path. They're trying to introduce JoJo's kid fan base to a lot of creepy sexual stuff. And they're using children's toys to do so. Yeah. But let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell. While you're down there, though, if you would like to donate, you can donate via Cash App or Super Thanks. And with all of that being said, I'll talk to you all soon in the next one.